Here are two Anker products. I'm sure you've heard of Anker. They make all kinds of charging products, very, very, very high quality, very high rated. They sent me over two of them. This one here is a 100-watt wall charger, so you're going to get two USB-C and a USB-A, 100-watt total output. It's a foldable one. You could probably put in a bag, take it with you. So if we have just the top port in use, top USB-C, it's going to be 100 watts. Two ports in use, apparently still 100. Not going to be 100 altogether, not going to be 100 combined, probably 100 altogether. And then if using all three, 89 watts, very good. Gallium nitride charger, so nice and small. We'll test that out. They also sent over this one here. This is an Anker portable charging device. I have an Anker 737 charger, a little bit bigger one. This one here is nice, 20,000 milliamp. That's going to be a lot, and 200 watts. So it can do a ton of power. It's a fast charging, two USB-C and USB-A. These are the type things you're going to take with you if you need to, charge up like a laptop, basically, cameras, all kinds of stuff. When I went to CES 2024 in Las Vegas, I took, not this one, I took the 737 with me, slightly different model, but very similar, with me there. And my God, was that thing a lifesaver, because I didn't have access to ports. I was there for like 8 to 10 hours. These things are fantastic. So we'll take a look at it, but 100-watt input, so you'll charge this thing at 100 watts. Output, we can do 100-watt max per port, basically. And the max you can do at one time is 200 watts. That's a lot. Very good. And just as a background, actually, because they decided to send over a couple of things, I decided to pick up a few things while I was at it. These aren't going to be complicated ones to test. Anker makes all kinds of little stuff. This is a little tiny, little Nubin type thing, small, but 30 freaking watts. That's crazy. That's like, yeah, back in the day, you needed like a full charger for 30 watts. It's a tiny little thing. I will give that a quick test there. I just got some cables to go with it, USB-C cables, so we can use it with these here. We'll be using the Anker brand ones. 240 watts per cable. Again, crazy. 2-pack here. Very nice. Use that. And then this is just for me. This is just for me about this. This is just a little charging stand. I can set my phone on it. I'm going to put it over to the corner over there. When I'm doing things and I'm not actually actively using my phone, it'd be nice to have a charger. So we'll go with set these up as well. But these aren't the focus of the video. They're just kind of extras that I'll do. These are the focus of the videos here. Nice. I actually saw these at CES. Nice shiny little look to it there. Longer rather than tall, which is nice. You can stick it in the wall. It's not going to block up a second port. Two USB-C, basically for laptops, because again, they can do a ton of watts there. USB-A on the bottom there, and it's foldable. Very nice. Metal design. Right, this is all metal here. All metal, so it's very, very premium. If you drop it, it's not going to break. It just feels nice and robust too. This is obviously not metal, but it's a nice aesthetic kind of plastic on it there. Set that up there, and then we'll open up this one. This one does come with accessories. We got a nice little carrying bag, velvety carrying bag. Very nice. And in here we get a cable. Some literature. I don't need that. Nice size on this too. 20,000 milliamp is a lot too. Same idea. Nice metal design. That's just for aesthetic. Power on. Nice click to it. Very nice. And then you get your IQ charging, usually for phones, tablets, that kind of stuff. But it's just 65 watts, which is, that's crazy to be honest. And then two more USB-C there, in and out. So you can charge in or go out, but it won't charge over USB-A. Very nice. And just while we're at it, I mean, I picked these up. If Anker is going to be nice enough to send me a couple things to review, I'm going to be nice enough to pick up a few things to review. So this is a 35-watt little guy here. Look at how freaking small these things are getting these days. Look at that. Look at that. That's 35. It's like, it's tiny. It looks even bigger on camera. Look at that thing. It's a tiny little thing. Okay, so that's that. Because I don't actually trust a lot of brands. I buy other brands and they're always like, they just don't work. So these being very, very high wattage is going to be important for me. Let's see it on the camera. Look at that. Nice little suite there. Nice little test suite. Very nice. I like that quite a bit. Very nice, actually. So, yeah, these are the accessories that are going to be primarily just for me. So let's get these out of here. We'll just throw them in at the end there. Okay, so now we're going to test these out here. This was not on here. We're going to test these out here. This here is the Anker, the big boy. I'm going to be able to probably charge 2 or even 3 devices off of this, maybe 4 before the thing dies. And obviously I can do them simultaneously, so that's nice. This nice big wall charge, it's got good weight to it, is going to be nice. And then we'll try the other bonus things as well. So I have a few things to test here. This is a GPD player, Win 2 player. with a 7840U processor. So that's good. That'll take a decent amount of charging. These, I think, come with 65 watt chargers, so that's fine. I also have a framework with literally the same chip, to be honest. We'll try both of these here. I could do a gaming laptop as well. I mean, there's so many different things I could do, but typically when I'm traveling around, I don't personally take a gaming laptop with me often, but what I do is take multiple devices like this that I'm going to be charging at one time. You hit that there, it's going to give you your status. This is very similar to the 737 that I use. 100% health, battery cycle 1 because it's battery, so if you just keep running it, eventually it'll break down, but these things are rated for a lot. Battery, 21 degrees Celsius. It's pretty cold in this room right now, in my basement. Auto screen timeout, that's fine. Screen brightness, high is good. Very good. Because it's an Anker video, let's use one of these other Anker chargers that I have. Let's use one of these new ones that I bought, these 100 watt ones. If you have two things going at once, you're going to be able to do 65 on both, which is fine. This is a 65 watt system, this is a 65 watt system. If you have a Steam Deck, some people don't know necessarily Steam Decks are 45 watts, so they're not going to pull as much as this. This can actually pull more watts than a Steam Deck. So can this, realistically. So you can see that there. All right. So we'll load up that. On this one here, do I have games on this one? I can't remember. Oh, you know what I'm actually going to do as well? I just thought of this right now because this thing is going to pull a decent amount of watts, but the actual system can, it can push watts through itself. So another thing I'm going to do is actually plug in a USB cable hub there, because that's going to just basically increase slightly even more. Wow, holy smokes, it's pulling a lot. 91. Yeah, I was going to say this thing can pull a lot of watts if need be, which is awesome. Yeah, so now this system here is pulling 91 watts. I didn't realize this thing could pull so many freaking watts. I mean, it is a 7000 series NVIDIA, 7000 series AMD. That's what the chip is pulling, but it's also charging the battery. So the chip is pulling some watts, and those energies are just going into the ether, basically into power and heat. Why is my person naked? Oh, because she's died. But also at the same time, you're going to be charging the battery. So we're actually pulling a ton of watts, technically on C2 here. This thing can do up to 100 watts per port. I don't think the system could technically do 100 watts, but it's pulling 86, which is nice. This thing's doing whatever here. Okay, so we're in Valheim over here. This, the gameplay doesn't matter. It's just the fact that it's going to be pulling a ton of watts. This game's really hard to run. And you can see they were pulling about 91. Oh, that's so loud. Right, so that's that there. The laptop can pull more than the handheld, obviously. It's a full laptop. Very nice. This thing still can pull a lot of watts, in theory. So that's 140 watts going out to these systems right now. It's quite a bit, to be honest. Alrighty, so now we have two things going at once. This is a very realistic scenario. Maybe you are using your laptop for work or whatever, charging up your laptop, and then this is pretty high demand right now. Obviously, we're pulling a lot of watts. And then on your handheld, you're doing handheldy stuff here. You're playing a game, whatever. This is a realistic scenario where, your handheld is like your Steam Deck, your ROG Legion Go GPD here. You're using this here for gaming purposes. Maybe your laptop is doing something else, just charging or whatever. This is a very realistic scenario. Or maybe you're with your friend or your spouse or your sibling or whatever, and one of you is playing a game on a laptop and the other one's playing a game on a laptop or a handheld, whatever, and you're playing together. So there's two important factors here. This thing here not only supplies enough wattage to do both of these at one time. You can see this thing's even going up to like 90 watts at times. So the advantages here are that not only can you charge your devices, I can charge this device here, I can charge this device here at the same time, charging them, but I can also have them charging at a very high wattage. So, if I just turn these games off here, turn that game off, turn that game off there, it's still going to charge these up, no problem, right? So I'm going to be able to charge both of the devices from 0 to full easily. Both of these here, no problem. But one advantage of something like this versus just a generic power bank is I'm able to charge them under full load. So not only am I, using this to supply power to this as if it was plugged into the wall, right? But I'm actually supplying power to the device. Like I'm not discharging, I am charging the device, right? Like, see, it's actually going up. So I'm pulling a ton of watts off of this into the system here to charge the battery, and I'm also using a lot of watts because I'm gaming at the same time. Okay, and the last thing is my switch here. Test this thing out here. So what are we going to get on the switch here? So we're at 82%, so we're not actually charged. So we're going to be charging while we're also doing it. What are we going to get here? Yeah. So I mean, if you use a Nintendo Switch, it's going to give you, this looks like it's giving us 2 hours and 46 minutes on the Switch. So 2.5 hours, basically, at half. So it's going to give you 5 hours or so, somewhere around there, or somewhere around 5 hours on Switch just out of this, plus the Switch battery. So, I mean, if you have a long flight or something, you bring a Switch with you. I mean, realistically, you're looking at, I mean, depends how long your flight is, but I mean, 6 hours is very reasonable. And you can see over here, one port, top port, which is the big one there. You're going to get a total of 100 watts. So again, I can do this laptop full power when it's playing a game. We'll test that. And then when you're using multiple ports, it's going to be, it's going to drop to 89 watts max, and then we'll split it up between the devices there. Okay, so I'm going to normally use these Anker cables because they're fine, because they're good. But this one here is a cable that has a little sensor in it. Not exactly really for like data and fast charging and that or anything, but I use it for measuring. So you can see there, 55 watts. That's probably as much as this laptop will do when it's just kind of hanging out here. So yeah, let's go like this here. There we go, now it's pulling tons of watts. 82 watts. 93, holy smokes. So, I mean, suffice to say, it's going to obviously supply the watts that are needed to the system. Yep, so it's pulling in right there, you can see. I mean, there's no real point like going too hard we're doing here, but you can see there we're pulling 77 watts. So you can see So you can see there we're pulling 68, 70 watts, jumping up and down because we're actually charging the laptop. Now I'm going to run a little Cinebench here just to really blast the system. To be honest, I never realized this thing could pull so many watts. I didn't actually know that. I usually plug this thing into 100 watts anyways, but like a lot of people will plug these frameworks into like a 65 watts. So that would probably mean that, I mean, you can still use it. It'll keep it fully charged, but you're not going to actually be able to pull, you know, full watts to charge the system and allow everything to the CPU, right? You can see there we're getting charging 34 watts, 34 minutes there at 70%, so it's going to charge it up. And at the same time, we're pulling 92 watts. Plug this in here. See if that drops. That should drop down slightly, in theory, rather than going up to like 75, because this will be taking some of it. Yeah, there we go. Even with two devices pulled in, you know, it mentions on here somewhere it'll do 65. If you split them up, if they're 100 watt power delivery, usually if you split them up, you plug in two devices, it'll still supply a full 65 to the first device there. And then we'll give the extra to the remainder over here, which makes sense. I mean, usually you're going to have two devices plugged in, one being a higher wattage system, aka, you know, this laptop here, which can pull more watts than need be, right? 65 watts is pretty high for the system. So there's the messy desk with everything going on. There's a Anker charger back there. There's a messy desk here. Then we have the Nintendo Switch here. So this is charging, apparently at 62 watts. The Nintendo Switch is just hanging out, doing full wattage. And then we're going to plug in my phone here. And there's the phone. So the phone is charging now. The Nintendo Switch is charging now. And the laptop is charging. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It's probably going to be really hard to see there. So that's that there. It also works really, really well. Shocking. Shocking. This is why I buy Anker stuff myself, because they work, and they work really well. So, I mean, it's even better when they send me stuff, because then I get more Anker stuff, and I just get to hoard it all, because it's awesome. Yeah, so that's that part of the video, I would say. Let's close it off with the last couple items here. Okay, we're getting close to closing out the video. I've tested the primary ones that I was sent that this video is about, but, I mean, let's just keep going. We've tested the Anker cables. Obviously, they work. They were supplying an easy 100 watts. I do want to test out this little guy here. Yeah, the switch only pulls 17, I guess. Actually thought it pulled more, but whatever. So that's fine. The switch will pull. It's 17 watts that it wants to pull. So the phone is going to do about 11, 12. Yep, so there's your 30. It's going to go up and down because it's kicking on and out. But a lot of these devices will do 30. You could get like a Nintendo. You could get, for example, even a Steam Deck. For example, Steam Deck, it can use it comes with a 45 watt charger. But a Steam Deck, if you put it in, it only runs 15 watts. Same with an ROG Ally, Legion Go, ROG Ally, you can put them in 15 watt mode. So if you throw, for example, your ROG Ally or Legion Go into 15 watt mode, they can do 15 or custom or 30, up to 30. 30 would be probably a little bit too much because that little guy over there is only going to do 30 watts. The system itself will pull potentially 30 on the CPU, maybe a little bit more extra. But for example, if you put it in like an eco mode, you're gonna have no problems. With this here, for example. I'm not even sure if this laptop will like so few watts. Yep, I can charge my laptop as well. Again, this laptop can take more watts. It'll just be a slightly slower charge, right? You can see that there. It'll still charge. It'll just charge slightly slower, but still 30 watts is 30 watts, right? It's taking 30. So it's going to charge the laptop. This laptop, like my CPU is not using 30 watts. Even if I were doing like general tasks, this CPU on the system is only rated for 30 watts. Put my phone on it and we'll test it out. And then of course I have this guy here, the last Anker device here on my messy desk. Oh, Anker stuff. This is the magnetic charging stand there. Cute little guy. Got my phone here. It's not complicated stuff, right? Charging. This is going to go beside my bed because my phone just like sits on my nightstand and I like put stuff on it, gets crushed. This is actually pretty cool. I might. Now you may say, Bo, why would you buy 2 of these? I'm going to admit something to you guys here. I got this from Best Buy Canada, actually. Good price. And you know what? I got it. I thought, this will be nice for the video. This will sit on my bedstand, my nightstand beside my bed. Put my phone on it, charge my phone overnight. When I need it, I just take it off like that, put it back on. I don't have to worry about cables, anything like that. And I thought, this is such a freaking cool idea that I bought a second one. This one here is going to go on my... Here, it's going to go here on my desk whenever I figure it out when I clean it. So that's going to basically be the one that goes beside my bed. And then I'm going to have one for my nightstand. So, I went pretty hard on the Anker stuff here. Remember, I bought all these here. These are the review units. So let's take it back here and just kind of review, I guess, all this Anker stuff for this video here. So these are awesome. They're straightforward. They're nice magnetism on them, right? No issues here. Nice magnetic snap there. Comes off easily enough. There's no issues with it whatsoever. It just works, right? It just works. It's not complicated. You get whatever angle you want. This is not complicated stuff. You don't have to use it with an iPhone. You can use it with any type of MagSafe device, right? Perfect. These are great. They're not expensive. Awesome. The little guy here, 30 watts, no problem. Working at 30 watts, fantastic. Great device, awesome. Take it with you. It's tiny. Cables, they definitely do 100 watts. That's what they're rated to. They work very well. This video here specifically was initially supposed to be about these 2 here. These Anker guys here, fantastic. The Anker Prime. This one here does 100 watts over there, and you can split it up 65, and you can split those for whatever, 25, 15, whatever you want to do. Awesome product, all metal, feels nice. Highly recommend that. And this Anker here, Anker Prime, 100 watts as well. This one can do much more than 100 watts. It'll split it up. Realistically, for the size, the amount of power you get out of it's fantastic, and it's got that nice little display. So that's that there. I'm going to put links to all of these in the video description down below. That's that there. I've been using Anker stuff for years. I recommend it on my Discord to people. Everyone on my Discord loves it. It's great stuff. If you're going to buy a product and you're like, I just want to get something that works. I just want it to work exactly as advertised, and I don't want any weird quirks, and I don't want to have any headaches with it. What do I buy? Most people, honestly, are just going to pick up these Anker devices here.